everyone, students, staff, friends, family and alumni and guests to the Dartington Festival 2010. This is the last of the Dartington Festival. We are Dartington College of Arts, and this is what we did, this is what we are, this is what we do. You should leave Dartington with your heads held high.
To promote
Is Julie here? Put the glass there. Sorry, it's plastic. So I'll start off with art. I was mentioned a bit. Theodore Adorno coined the term the culture industry because he thought that the word mass media tended to look at mass culture was part of the masses when it wasn't. It was an industry that was imposed upon people. And we now know of creative industries. There's an oxymoron, if everyone heard one. And we're in a position of the re-objectification of art and the commodification of experience. Hopefully this will be discussed further at Saturday's symposium, where we're very pleased to have our honorary fellow Gustav Metzger coming and will be there, known for his destruct art. Also we've got Melanie organised Shaking Hands with Ghosts, so there's a few pieces by people here at various points to do with that, which goes backwards and forwards.
So this is about shaking hands with ghosts. This image was very important to me, of the open hand. I chose that about the same time as I chose the name. This was Jerome's. He did an e-writing piece in the boiler room, outside the boiler room of the Bothy, which is upper close. There's an area, it's one of those lovely areas that nobody really knows. The Bothy is an area where teachers are, lecturers are, and then underneath there are some stairs down to some flats where we as visiting tutors often stayed. And underneath that, around the corner, is this boiler room that basically heats the whole college. And outside of there is a sort of wonderful performic area.
Yeah.
And he basically...
A lot of students,
once
they start to search, they gravitate
they find
to
it, they like it. So he projected basically an image of Dorothy and Leonard. And then e-writing is where you're sort of projecting text and then erasing it and projecting it. I don't know how you do it, but he did it beautifully. But he basically used the text that that was written about Dartington, the principles of Dartington, which a lot of people have used over the last 3 or 4 days to refer to. Education is freedom. And so there were probably only about 20 of us there, but it was very intimate and very quiet and very beautiful. And slowly just played around with the relationship of the text and the words, taking words out, bringing words in, moments of seeing the image, not seeing the image. It's beautiful.
A lot of this was built by men and women doing long shifts at a factory, at an engineering factory. I think those kind of people often get forgotten. So originally what I wanted to do was use that site to just kind of shake hands with those particular ghosts that maybe do get forgotten in the sort of panegyrics that revolve around this particular spot. Quite a lot of this piece is about erasure. And it's about scraping stuff away, see what's underneath. Or is it? That's the other question. I like the idea of daytime ghosts. I like the idea of the ghosts that appear during the... I suspect there are more daytime ghosts than nighttime ghosts. The idea of projection also is that it seems to me it's kind of graffiti but not graffiti. It's accommodating but also subversive in a way that graffiti isn't. And the interesting thing here is actually is try and work out what is actually going on, whether it's a process of layers being stripped away to reveal a kind of archaeology, or whether it's a process of painting over, i.e. is stuff being uncovered here, or is it being covered up? And finally, the other thing I was going to mention is that the text is fragments of text taken from the piece that, in fact, Misha was singing yesterday, which is the prospectus for the school at Dartington, some of the kind of early days. So in a way, it's going back to that, shaking hands with that beginning as well.
I want to make it a sort of artwork in itself, but also something that gives a bit of information. But basically, it's not easy. I know these are not easy, these programs. We've sort of done it on purpose. You know, it's basically, you know, if you want to find the work, you'll find it, and that's part of it. That's the sort of exploration of it, because all the work are to do with sort of interventions. They're not really to do with sort of performic moments. They're more sort of cutting through time, cutting through landscape. I don't know if you saw the beautiful event yesterday outside the White Hart, where Propeller were watching the clouds. And I mean, it was just an extraordinary moment, you know, because it completely changed that space. You know, there are hundreds and hundreds of people all having a great time and drinking, and their kids, and, you know, just having a lovely time. And then suddenly there was this little bell, and then there was a person just standing in the middle of space completely still, and then there was another person, 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 until there were about 20 people. I joined in as well. And we just stood completely still, looking at the clouds for 20 minutes. And there was this fantastic sort of sense of, you know, it becomes very matrix, very filmic. There's this vortex, there's this stillness. And then everybody's just moving around it. This was us looking at the clouds, which I was telling you about yesterday. This is me. The reason there's a picture of my office door is that I've been here for 28 years and I've never had an office. And then in February they said, would you like an office? And it was just like, oh God, how exciting. You know, because I've never done a normal job. So, you know, I would imagine for most people, offices are like, you know, their idea of hell. But I've always wanted an office. I've always wanted my name. I've always wanted to be acknowledged that I'm actually here. I've never even had a pigeonhole, you know. So, and they said you can have something written on the door. So I finally wrote, you know, interdisciplinary practice. This is what I do, and my office has become a sort of, you know, a studio basically. Come and have a look at it. I had a sort of meet and greet yesterday, and basically, you know, it's a place where I want people to come and talk to me. So this is an office, a Dartington office.
You've even got a drinks cabinet.
I've got a drinks cabinet, but it's only because of this weekend. Now, just like so, normally I do not have alcohol in here. In fact, this was a piece I made a number of years ago, which is where the idea of the folding came, but this is a series of video images. But yeah, this is just a selection of thousands and thousands of photographs that I've collected over the years, and it's, you know, and why, I don't know why, you know. This is that did a piece in the programmes office, which is the office where everybody goes to collect all their documentation and drop all their documentation off, and they decided they wanted to work there.
You're telling me this, why are you telling me that? I totally disagree. Sorry, it's not very interesting.
3, 2, 1. Isn't it beautiful? See, there are a few places dotted around. You see here?
But I think it's very artificial.
Really?
Absolutely.
Someone else's problem, you don't need to feel guilty about it. We call it teamwork. Because you don't want to be missold anything, you want it to be safe. But to make a big profit, you need to make a big investment. Because the future is based on the past, and we could imagine together, here and now, how that future could look. Are you always running to catch up with yourself? Do you find it difficult to cope with the pace of the world around you? You want some certainty, some surety, some space to really look. Don't be too proud to ask for help. Because the future is based on the past, and we could imagine.
And this was Rob Goulthrop's piece, which was beautiful, which was a sort of banging drum that was banging on its own, because it was like mechanical. But the speakers were sort of stretched over the whole of that field over there before all the tents really arrived. So as you, depending on where you were, you got a different resonance.